Welcome again. We are going to do how to analyze any mathematics question. Just a moment here. We are almost there. How to analyze any maths question. Let me do it like this so that we can have a good view. Yeah, like that. Thank you. So this is how to analyze any maths question, and we are going to use the RASH technique. Today we are going to use the RASH technique, the RASH, the RASH technique. And in maths, many a time we have to consider time, because now here we are talking about, now you are having the paper with you in an exam room. You are in an exam room and you have to do this paper and you expect to pass. How are you going to do your calculations, or what should a student consider so that you handle these questions so well and manage yourself so that time may not cut you out? Then before we go into the RASH elements, I want us to look at immediately you are given a question paper, then what should you be doing as a student? Remember, you are competing with the time. You only have, let's say, 3 hours or 2.5 hours or maybe 2 hours, and you want to do all the questions so that you pass this mathematics paper. And in this situation, you are in class in an exam room, as the supervisor or the invigilator are still giving other students the papers. They are still issuing the papers, and luckily enough you sat in front and you've been given the paper. You have almost, let's say, you have a good time, some 3 minutes, when they will still be giving or issuing the papers until the time they will say start. Between that time you're given the paper and the time you will say start, already you have some minutes to go through the instructions. Many students always rush to the solutions, to the question. They start solving even before reading the instruction. It is very important to read the instructions first, because some instructions there may help you to solve the problems. There are some instructions that help you to solve the problem. There are some instructions, yes. So you have to use that minutes to go through the instructions, because one of the instructions may say, do not write on this booklet, or do not write anything on this question paper. And because you didn't read that, you wrote on that paper, or you are writing, or you write something on that paper, and the invigilator may come and punish you for that. So avoid such punishments by going through the instruction. Very important. Then number 2 thing, take first 5 minutes to go through the questions and write down all the formulas you may be required to apply. Let's say in your exam room you are, let me use about 20 students, and you are the first person to be given the question paper. You might go through the instruction using 1 minute or even less if you are a good reader, fast reader that I mean. So you have some minutes to go through the paper. As you read the questions, then you just somewhere, if the instruction said do not write anything on this paper, then use a pencil or somewhere behind the booklet, write the formulas that you memorized when revising. Write those formulas down. They will help you, because on the optimal set of question, Go through the questions while making the ones you can attempt and score more marks. You have now spent 5 to 10 minutes setting up yourself. Then this will help you to save time, because maybe you might tense in the process of deciding which question to attempt, and you will end up forgetting all the formulas you memorized. Unfortunately, you'll waste time and eventually do what? Fail. It is very important to write the formulas and take some few minutes before you start your solution. Take some few, 5 to 10. It's not much. It's not much. 5 to 10 minutes is not much to go through the questions. Write the formulas that you might be needed to use in each question. And also what you have to do is that on the selection part, there are some questions that are optional. Yeah, the optional set of questions. Those questions that are always optional, you choose the question, say instructions say choose do 2 or do 5 or do 7. So you have to go through that section and check the questions that you can attempt. Check the questions that you can attempt, and always go for the question that can give you more marks. Because you find yourself in a situation where let's say question 1 you can do and score 5. Another question you can do and score 7 out of 10, 5 out of 10. So which one will you go for? You will go for the 7, or the one that gives you 7 marks. So you go for the question that can award you the maximum marks as possible. So just take 5 to 10 minutes doing that, because it will help you when you'll be done with the compulsory part or section A. Then you are remaining with the section B part. Choose those questions before you start. Choose those questions before you start, and writing the formula will help you, because there are some points where you are going to be tensed. The time is going, you don't know which question to do, you don't know which question to select, you don't know which one to avoid or to ignore or don't do. So you are going to be tensed. Obviously, when the mind is tensed, you are going to forget the formulas that you memorized already. In fact, you are going to forget how even to start doing that question. So it is important, when you have given a paper, before you start, do that. Now let's go to next. Now the RASH. Number one thing is reading the question. Reading the question, very important. You can't do any question without reading it. Now, what does reading the question entails? Read the whole question carefully to understand it. Point 2, note the key terms mentioned and underline them if possible. There are some terms that a question may be mentioning that can help you in solving that math problem. Then reading while trying to solve can confuse you. There are some students that when they read the question, they try to solve even before finishing the question. It is very wrong. Or what might happen to you is that you might leave out some important information. And what are some information that you can forget? Some question provides condition to be applied, e.g. express your answer in the form y is equals to mx plus c, or to 4 significant figures, or the nearest meters, etc. So such information are easy to neglect if you read shallowly, if you read your question shallowly, or if you don't, you read the question before you finish, you begin to solve. Before you finish, you begin to solve. We might miss such information, like for example, to 4 significant figures, or to 1 decimal place, or to the nearest meters, the nearest centimeter. Let's say you've computed and the final answer is up to 4 significant figures, but the examiner needed to the nearest whole number. So it is very important to read all the questions. Then next, analyzing the question. After reading the question so well, all of it, now you have understood the question. List down all the given parameters, conditions, or the figures provided. If there are some units to be converted, take note of them and write down the formula to be applied. In one of my videos, I shared with you that when you're tackling a question, you have to understand the formula, master the formula, understand the procedure, and maintain the conditions. Now you are in the exam room. Today you are in an exam room. Write down the formula to be applied and take note of if there is any unit to be converted. Let's say liters to meters cube or centimeter to meters. You have to take note of them. Kilometers to meters per second, things like that. You have to take note of them and write down the formula. Remember, you had written the formula somewhere at the back of your booklet, so come and write that formula down there, and then compare the parameters given or the figures provided with the formula. From this, we'll be able to identify what you need to compute that may be needful for the solution. In bracket, do not compute yet. Do not compute it. You are still analyzing the question, analyzing the math problem question. So you have read, list down those parameters that you are given, write down the formula, then begin to compare. If what you are given you can insert in the formula, or the parameters you are given, the formulas, they have written the formula, yes, the parameters are given and there are some that are not given. So for those that are not provided the formula will help you how to go about them. Then after analyzing, now where do you start? The starting point. Many students make the mistake, and if you make a mistake in the starting point, then the whole thing may go wrong or messed up. Now you are set to solve this question. You have analyzed, you've written the formula, you've written down all the parameters, you have noted everything that is needed. Now go ahead and convert the units if there is those that to be converted. Substitute the given parameters into the formula and compute the figures that are missing. This technique is called using the provided information to find the missing information. Use what you are given to find what is unknown. Use the unknown to compute the unknown. The formula will help you in doing this. So after writing the formula, begin to substitute the parameters that are given or anything that are needed. Then compute whatever is not given. Then read the main question. Now go to question Roman 1. Let's say Roman 1. Solve carefully and observe all the required necessities. The reason why you have to observe, or you have to be very keen when you are starting to solve your first solution, is that your starting point matters a lot. Some questions, Roman 1, the answer that you will get in Roman 1 can affect the other question that may follow, because remember, the starting point may affect the other question that may follow. Many times, subsequent questions fully depends on the first question. You mess up at the beginning, you miss everything. That means your starting should be very accurate. So, how you start to compute the Roman 1, it must be very accurate and observe all the necessities that are needed, all the conditions. You substitute very well and you provide what the examiner needs. Your starting point is very important, because once you miss at the beginning, then everything might be spoiled up to the last question, and you will end up scoring 0 because your starting point is wrong. And your starting point can be wrong if you didn't analyze the question well, and if you didn't write or use the correct formula. Then, having it done, now you have solved your problem. After doing your calculation, see to it that your final answer satisfies the examiner. That means all the conditions needed must be satisfied for you to be very correct, because your answer should be very correct. If you want to score, you can't be given a mark for a wrong answer. There are some questions that some examiners, when they are marking, they always go for the last answer, especially when they have a pile of books, a pile of booklets they want to mark. So as you are doing your paper, make sure that your calculations are neat, you arrange them so well, because some examiner may give you some marks, the answer may be wrong, but your procedure and how you've arranged your calculation are neat and are well noted. So your final answer should be easily identified from the calculations, clear and separately written down under it should be the last thing that appears on your each of every solution of the math problem that you are solving. So some students just mix up everything. They mix up the solution and the final answer, so the examiner finds it's very hard, because the examiner wants to mark a pile of booklets, and he has no time, and he wants to make money. He wants to make money by marking so many booklets, and you are wasting the time. He is trying to look for your answer. He will give you a wrong, or maybe if he may confuse or mistaken the answer with another value. So it is very important to separate your answer so well. The final answer must be separated so well. Then you have solved the question. You are now set to face another question. Do the same to all other questions. These techniques is much suitable, especially in solving detailed questions that have so many wordings, especially in the section part where questions are awarded 8 to 10 marks. So this technique will help you to tackle any maths question so well, and you will score a very good marks. And as a math student, when you are given a paper, you have no reason to tense. You have to be confident. Don't tense, just style up, manage yourself well, do proper preparation before you start doing this exam. It is very important to take a few minutes to go through the paper, and as you write down somewhere formulas, this one is very helpful, and try this and you will see yourself upgrading from poor to average, from average to top scores. So you have to consider RASH for you to be able to tackle or to do any maths problem so well in a manner that the examiner will be pleased. So consider RASH and everything shall be okay with you. So only thing you need to do to this video is to subscribe and like this video. You can share so that many students may reach this video and it may be helpful to them. This is the only way you can appreciate this young man. This young man is a young tutor of maths. Mathematics is so sweet and it's very easy if you manage yourself, and if you consider RASH, if you consider MAM technique. There's another technique that we'll be using in the next video, where we'll be just doing how to make maths look simple and easy, and the next video will be very helpful. So tune in to the next video, subscribe, like this video and share so that many other students may reach. Thank you for your time and thank you for your cooperation. Goodbye.